Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Positive Awesome Wrestling Show. Post Royal Rumble. I'm in a good mood. I hope everyone else is in a good mood. Before we can even get to that, I guess they can answer when I introduce them. Obviously, we got Albert below me and Tidy to the right of me. But before we get to them, we're going to hand it over to the guest of honor on this episode, Matt. How the heck are you, man? And thank you for joining the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I am fantastic. I thought the Rumble last night was incredible. Absolutely one of the best Rumbles I personally have seen. People have been going back and forth, but obviously this is what we're here to talk about today, right? But I'm feeling fantastic. I think things are changing for the best, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. I'm glad you have that mindset because I was worried you were going to come in and be like, it was a terrible Rumble. I'm like, oh man, I gotta shoot down our guest right out the gate. He's finally on the show.
Man, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. There was one part that I thought was, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. And now I'm gonna go to Albert next because he is the Royal Rumble, I guess, expert here of this group. He went through and watched all of them before this one, and I'm gonna get to that too after we do these introductions. But how the heck are you, Albert? And how did you enjoy the show?
I'm doing well. Things are good. Royal Rumble was last night, and I've watched both Royal Rumble matches twice now already because that's how prepared I need to be for this show. I've loved both of them. I mean, again, the Royal Rumble just continues to be my favorite pay-per-view every single year. It never fails for me. It's exciting, and I mean, we'll get into everything individually.
Absolutely
great time.
And Tidy, last but certainly not least, how the heck have you been doing, sir? And I hope you enjoyed the Rumble. I really do. I know it didn't go the way you wanted to, but hopefully you enjoyed the Rumble.
Man, it was booty. I'm joking. It was good, man. I had a damn good time. I don't really have any complaints. I didn't watch the Roman match very seriously or closely. I was doing other things and cooking, but that wasn't what I was there for. I knew he was going to win. But I'm doing good, man. The mucus is subsiding. The cold is slowly going away. How the hell is it lasting this long?
That's just what it does these days, man. It just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. I love the
Royal Rumble.
I love the Rumble. I was there though, so I'm a little bit biased as always because when you're there, it's always going to be like 100 times better.
Well, I'm a little bit jealous.
Dope ass shirt that came with it. I was so excited to get the shirt, and everybody's been clowning on it. And I'm like, y'all don't know what you're talking about. This thing is fresh to death. I know what good drip is. That's why I'm the drip king. You'll doubt me on that.
Don't listen to that negativity.
So tonight there's no list tonight because we're just going to be going over our favorite moments from the Rumble. We'll talk a little bit more about the Rumble. We're going to each designate a match for WrestleMania that we think might have been kickstarted last night at the events. And then we're all going to try and do one differently. I like doing that just because we have the time tonight. We don't have a whole bunch of other stuff bogging us down. We'll get to our guestion of the week at the end. And before we get there, I'm going to let everybody give their grades. And then after that, I got to go over last week's predictions because we had a massive title match that went from a fatal 5-way to a fatal 6-way because it's the Royal Rumble and the more the merrier. That's what I was thinking. So we added someone to the list, and it was Courtney. We'll see how Courtney did jumping in last minute, cashing in the briefcase quicker than Damian Priest did. All right, so right around the clock, we're going to go in a little circle here, starting off with Tidy. I want you to give me a letter grade on each of the Rumble matches. Women first, men second. Tidy, what's your grades?
Women's first. 10. A.
There you go. If it's a 10, that's an A+, I think, honestly.
It was 10 for me. So I watched it technically 3 times.
Hey, that works.
You beat by one.
What about the men's match?
Men is 9. I'll give it a 9.
I like to hear that. Because that's the one everyone's kind of been clowning on. I don't get it, but again, I had different goggles on. So, Matt, what about you? The women's, men's. What's your letter grade for each of them?
So I'm gonna go with A with women's. I thought the women's was actually the best women's Royal Rumble match yet. The men's, I would say probably a B-.
Okay.
There was some slower paces that I just wasn't feeling like the Rumble should be. Like it should be more fun, and it just seemed more slower, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. No, that's
Like
fair.
old school Rumble vibes, I guess. Like old school, you know?
That's fair. We all have our preferences and what we're looking for in these things. There's no wrong answer here at all. As long as you're not saying D's and F's, like, I mean, I've seen so many people clowning on. I'm like, yo, wild. It couldn't have been that much different, man. Albert, our resident expert in Royal Rumbles. You have 2 questions. Not only are you giving a letter grade, I want you to tell me if you would consider each of them to be a top 5 all time.
Letter grade for the women's, A. I would say letter grade for the men's, B. Men's, absolutely not top 5. I think it's good. I thought it was a solid Rumble. I thought it was, rewatching it the second time, I do like the way it started. I really do like the entry order was really good. I think that they were solid with a lot of it. I think that it was a good change of pace this year that we didn't get a lot of throwback entrants. We got surprises, and those surprises are going to be people that are going to be on the main looking seemingly on the roster from going forward or feature NXT talents. But there wasn't anybody outside. There wasn't a big, giant surprise or whatever. I think the Women's Royal Rumble is the best Women's Royal Rumble of all time. I think it's number 1. Yeah, I think hands down, I think that we had the most talent in the Rumble, and I think that it was paced the best. I think the result was great. I think that Becky getting eliminated when she did shocked a lot of people. I think it was really well done. I said a lot of people, okay? All right, I didn't mean you specifically.
Hold on, let me look at the notes from last week real quick just to make sure.
Courtney, exactly. Jordan Grace, man, absolutely awesome to see her in the Rumble, and
so,
she was awesome.
Incredible.
I just want to point out that out of the 6 people in that title match for the Positively Awesome Wrestling prediction show for WWE, I was the only person that did not have Becky Lynch in the Final 4. I gotta gloat somehow because I didn't win, but I'm gonna gloat somehow. I gotta get it in there.
It's so funny because I was literally about to tweet online, like I think Becky, Liv, who else? Bailey and Bianca were gonna be the Final 4.
Yeah.
And then Becky immediately, right before I hit send, was eliminated. I was like, nope, delete.
So letter grade, women's, I'm right out there with y'all. It was an A. I'll have to go back and watch last year's again because I remember really enjoying last year's. But again, the problem with last year's was I was there and I have that goggle bias there too. But it was a really good Rumble. I know it wasn't a bad one. It was really well done. But this one did just had the pacing, I think, is what set this one apart from last year's.
Yeah.
Having Naomi come out second was brilliant. It was really the Jordan Grace entry was what?
Yeah.
I've been told so many times that WWE does not play well with others. How is this happening? When did she get signed? Sean Ross Sapp. I need some information right now. Jade Cargill, I'm not even joking. Other than Cody winning, Jade Cargill got the pop of the night. The biggest complaint I've seen from people is that the crowd wasn't into it. And I can tell everybody right now, the crowd was very into this whole show. The issue was it's in a baseball stadium and it's domed, and 1/3 of the stadium there was nothing over there. They cut it off. So there's nobody in the stands. There's nothing over there. So all the sound went up and over there and just died. So I'm assuming that's why it wasn't coming through on TV. I refuse to watch it because I don't want it to put a bad taste in my mouth because I just enjoyed myself so much.
So
yeah,
really quick. Was Sami Zayn's entrance booed, like as everybody says it was booed? Like
there was no boo.
Reaction?
He didn't get the pop when he came out, but once his music died, everybody was still doing the that went on for a good minute afterwards. But he didn't get the pop that I think they were expecting. But again, he hasn't really been gone that long either. So
right, and it just made it feel like somebody was going to come out that was more special. No offense to Sami.
Exactly.
I think expectations ruined it too because The Rock was rumored. People were speculating MJF, the Okada speculation. There was a lot of big names that people were like waiting for. And then when it was Sammy, it was like, we love Sammy, but come on. And it's like, don't let your expectations.
Liv was a big return. I think Liv actually set like a little bit of a standard of like, oh, it's going to be, if it's not somebody, that's, that we're not expecting, it's going to be a big return. And I guess Sammy just hasn't been gone for long enough for everybody to go, oh, we missed him.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Omos probably would have better spot there simply for the fact they would have booed him, and that's the reaction we want him to get. So that's what I would have done, honestly. But that's
would have put him back on TV regularly too.
Well, yeah. From here, he probably will. It's WrestleMania. They're going to use the big guy.
The only spot I didn't like in the women's Rumble, right, was the fact when what's her name, Maxine Dupree tried to do the tilt-a-whirl head scissors. It looks so awful.
She needs a lot of work before she's allowed back in the ring, in my opinion. And I say that with the utmost respect. I think she's fantastic for her role, but
I think that spot should have went to somebody like Isla Dawn for sure.
I think she might have been injured because she did come out with Alba Fire for the entrance, but then she went to the back. So I'm assuming she might have been injured or something.
That's a good point.
But for the men's, I'm gonna give it. This is recency bias and goggles blinded and all that. I don't care. A B+ because I had the time of life. I had to check myself halfway through. I'm like, my voice is leaving. Punk's not here yet. Sammy's not here yet. I need to stop yelling so much so that I can yell like crazy when he comes out. And I did. So top to bottom, that was a fantastic show. One of the best live shows I've probably ever been to as far as fun involved. But letter grades. I'm glad we're all kind of in agreement here. I'm really glad that happened. I was like, man, nobody better be disagreeing on this shit. Now to the championship match. We had a fatal 6-way between our champion, Albert, our positively awesome wrestling WWE predictions champion. Albert put his title on the line against yours truly, the Drip King. Tidy over here. Courtney in the chats. And our good buddy, Nick from Wrestling With Your Thoughts, Wrestling Legion. He has the show Wrestling With Your Thoughts. And then also our guest from last week, Beast Mode. And as I said earlier, I didn't win. I got 8 points. But again, I'll praise myself a little bit because I did get the most finals in the for the women because I didn't pick Becky like y'all did. The crazy thing here is Bianca was in all y'all's lists. She was in mine too. She was in everybody's Final Four. She didn't make the Final Four as much as people were trying to say she was. I watched the replay.
I didn't pick Bianca.
Hold on. You didn't. Good on you. Because you had Tiffany. And Tiffany was actually a Final Four person.
She was.
Her feet touched last.
Yes, but I agree. I was going to say that I watched it a second time, and I was going to say I don't want credit for Bianca because Tiffany's feet definitely hit last. Even though Tiffany fell first. She fell back first, Bianca's feet hit first, and then Tiffany's feet hit over.
So, coming in 6th place, I'm sorry to do this to you, buddy. Tidy, you got 7 points. But, no, never mind. I was going to say you had the all Final Four, but you didn't. 7 points. Close. Coming in a tie for 5th, I got 8 points. And Courtney got 8 points. Nick coming in, and I guess he would be in 3rd place.
Yeah.
2nd place because 1st place was a tie as well between you and Beast Mode. Unfortunately for Beast Mode, the tie goes to the winner, though, and you don't lose your championship. So you have successfully defended your WWE predictions. I was going to make you graphic, but I haven't had time. My phone's broken, so I wasn't able to do it. We will get you one out this week, though, because you deserve it. You are the champ. Look at he's going to go get this guy. No, we're not doing that. Anyway.
I threw a finger up for you, bro. I threw it up. I got you.
I appreciate it.
We'll see how well he does for the Elimination Chamber. Meanwhile, I ain't defending my title anytime soon because that's how I do it with the AW one. But now to
if you don't defend it.
The meat and bones of the show, Royal Rumble time. We're going to do one apiece. We'll just do the clockwork thing again. That way we're not just one person talking for too long, and then we can all just jump in and talk on each other's, because I'm sure we all kind of liked each other's things too, because there was a lot to like about it last night. And not to, no, I won't do that. Matt, I'm gonna let you go first. You were the guest of honor. I'm just gonna hope and pray that you or Albert don't touch the one I really, 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 really want to brag about. So
we're
the
just
floor is
talking
yours,
about-
sir. Huh?
We're just talking about a spot that we really enjoyed in the match.
We're gonna do 3, 1 apiece though, and we'll just go in a round robin table type situation. So we're all
About the
getting
whole
one in.
show. About the
What's
whole
that?
show? About the whole show or just the Fatal 4-Way?
Just any show, any part of the show you want to talk about.
Cool. So my favorite part, I definitely want to say, was probably either between it's a tie. It's the stare down between Bianca and Jade. Thought was incredible. And in the hot tag from R-Truth.
He took it. He took
I
it.
mean, that was the number one. I thought it was absolutely incredible, right?
I gotta find
Number 2, Braun Breaker was absolutely incredible. You know,
Yeah.
just to see the kind of reaction, you know, the wolf he was getting, wolves he was getting in the
Here's,
crowd.
here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we do. We're gonna stop you on Braun Breaker. We're gonna talk about the R-Truth one. We're gonna talk about, because I feel like we can spend some time on R-Truth here, because I wanted to spend quite a bit of time giving this man his flowers, because on the drive home today, I was just thinking, like, man, I know everybody praises R-Truth, but I don't think he gets praised enough. And that's kind of crazy, because he does get praised quite a bit, but it's not enough. The hot tag, I saw someone say it was a top 3 Royal Rumble moment ever. And I'm like, I'm not even going to disagree with it. I'm just not, because I was dying and everybody around me was dying. Not even that, just interrupting the women's Rumble too. Everything R-Truth does at this point is just gold. And then I'm going to pull up this thing. Y'all can chat about it for a second. I got to pull up this clip that I saw because of Albert earlier today, because it's
I was going to say, please tell me it's the one that I think you're good.
Yeah, I'm going to pull this up because it is so good.
So prior to the R-Truth spot, one of my other favorite spots was the Santino spot where he's in the women's Rumble and he gives himself the Cobra. And I thought that was one of the funniest moments in Rumble history. R-Truth topped it. Just the hot tag thing. I watched it with a couple of my friends, and we stopped talking. We just, like, dead middle of conversation, just stopped talking. We're just staring at the screen until it ended, and all of us were just burst out laughing as he got.
I don't think any of us expected Dom to actually make the hot tag.
Yeah, I know, that dude was so great that Dom played in with it.
Right.
That's why
Dom
Dom
doesn't get enough credit, man. I love Dom. Dom's heat that he gets is insane. Absolutely nuts. And I've liked Dom since day one. When people were crapping all over the guy, I was like, you can't crap because he's in his father's shadow right now. Wait till he breaks out. Look what's happened.
So I will say this about it. I was not a big Dom. I liked him in his first match because I thought he had a lot of potential. And then it went downhill pretty quick after that. And I didn't want him fired or anything like that. I was like, he needs to go to NXT and get himself figured out. But they were like, no, we have a better idea. And I'm not afraid to say now, I feel like I'm probably one of his biggest fans. Like, I love him.
Yep.
Hold up. There it is.
He's just put himself into that character, man. He's doing so well.
Yeah, it's fantastic what he's doing. But here we go. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Present. I'm still learning this whole thing right here, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Right here. Share. I'm going to full screen this bad boy. I don't know if y'all have seen this yet.
Happy to that, man. You told me last night, what did you say? What do you mean what I said last night? I didn't go out there in the women's Royal Rumble. And what happened to your hair? That was Nick. Mysterio? I need a drink. It's too early for that.
He said, Mysterio.
He also had a pre-show thing with what's his face that everybody keeps getting confused with our boy Not Sam. He had a thing with him where he was supposed to like open
Peter
up the
Rosenberg
baseballs.
with the baseball.
Yeah, with Peter Rosenberg, open up the baseball, and he said something else, and he's like, "Oh, Gesundheit" at the end. God, R-Truth, man, is killing it.
He's like these balls don't twist like the ones from yesterday.
So here's a little side story about Peter Rosenberg. At WrestleMania 37, I was sitting in the tunnel because it was raining, and I was just chilling there waiting for the rain to stop so we go out and watch the show and everything. And somebody just walked up to me because I was wearing a mask because, you know, COVID was still happening. And I was just sitting there, and then some ladies walks up to me, like, "Hey, are you Peter Rosenberg?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sitting in this hallway." Like, what? Don't know why. I don't think I look anything like the guy.
You're
Yeah.
bald and you have a beard. I get the exact same thing too.
We have 2 other Peter Rosenbergs in this room right now.
That's yeah.
But yeah, R-Truth, man. And when I was in the Superstore Saturday morning, it was a madhouse because we went right when it opened and everybody just bulldozed in. And I'm sitting there going around. I'm like, I'm so frustrated because we keep getting just dragged around everywhere. My girl absolutely loves R-Truth. That's like her favorite wrestler in the world right now. Amanda just loves him. And they left because it was too much for them. They were like, we'll wait outside. But then my son's like, hey, that's R-Truth over there. And then right as he said it, I hear, what's up? And I'm like, yo, that is R-Truth. What's going on? I turn around and he's over there. I tell her, and she comes running back in. She goes, we're on our way back in. And she runs in. He's phenomenal. The stuff he's doing right now is probably some of my favorite stuff he's ever done, hands down. And the thing that I realized today was how long he's actually been doing this, because he debuted at the tail end of the Attitude Era. I believe that's when it was with Road Dogg, and he's still here today.
Dude,
and
he's a former NWA champion.
He won the NWA championship in 2002.
Yeah,
it's crazy
because a lot of people don't understand how good his character work is. Fantastic, but his in-ring work, he could have been a multi-time world champion in WWE, 100%.
But a lot of people want to give Miz all the love in the world for being able to, stay in for so long. And I think R-Truth has done a better job than the Miz has, and I know that's probably a very controversial thing to say, hot take as the kids like to call it. But R-Truth has done it by literally evolving over the years, and he's now got this job. Now he's in a position now where he has a job in WWE for life on screen. He doesn't have to go be a producer. He doesn't have to, he can be on screen for the rest of his life because he is that damn good.
I do think Miz might, be around on TV here and there as well.
He'll come in and do appearances and stuff like that. I don't think he could be weekly.
His in-ring work, he develops. I think his character work just has stayed the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring, because I'm more of a character guy than in-ring guy. I always have been. Always
for sure.
I think that's what keeps people relevant. Honestly, if you can have a character that can stay on TV, you're gonna be on TV a lot. And that's no knock on Miz at all. I respect the shit out. Like, he's made a nice career for himself for someone who probably shouldn't have made a career like this for himself. Like, all the props in the world to him. I just think R-Truth doesn't get the love he wants.
There was a documentary, and it just showed Vince talking to everybody that was in the classroom, and Vince was up front, and then he had somebody basically come up and do a promo, and he's like, you know what, R-Truth, get up, show him how it's done. And then R-Truth just says some funny ass shit, does slams a random promo out. And so I think everybody's known that R-Truth is the man since way back when. It's just, I'm just glad he's not getting super airtime right now.
Yeah. It's not just these quick little snippets like it was a few years ago. They're like, you have something, we're going to run with it, and you're going to get the time you need to let it shine. And he is so good. And he's
the good thing about him too is the fact that he interacts with his fans a lot, and that's a big plus about his character as well.
Yeah, he was in that. He had that run.
Yes,
he was K-Quick there too, wasn't he too? Because he went there with
Crush.
Okay, that's right.
He was Ron the Truth Killings. Okay. Yep. Dude, the 3 Live Crew and that was him, Road Dogg, and Conan.
Yeah.
That was my favorite faction in TNA history. Like, I loved him to death. Like, I've been a fan of Ron Killings since he was K-Quick back in '98. And I've followed his career. I mean, like I said, two-time, I think, NWA World Champion. I mean, absolutely incredible.
Also a documentary on WWE Network /Peacock now. I mean, it's been out for a while, but there's one about his whole upcoming of how he got to where he was.
I did not know this. I'm watching this tomorrow. Like,
it's so good.
It's very good.
All right. So
He beat Ken Shamrock for the title, by the way. That's like what a lot of people don't understand too. Like he beat Ken Shamrock for the NWA Heavyweight Championship, and he's the
And
first.
then he beat Styles too, I think. After,
Yeah,
right?
he's the first ever black NWA Heavyweight Champion. Like it's like he set so much. He set like so much history in his career, and people just don't even acknowledge it because he's so good at what he does now. It's insane.
Watch the doc.
Two-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, two-time NWA World Tag Team Champion with BG James and Conan as the Three Live Crew, and then also with Adam Jones, Adam Pac-Man Jones.
That's right.
I remember seeing this one.
The best part about that, though, was back then, Adam Pac-Man Jones wrestled like one match, didn't even wrestle. And then the following couple times that they teamed up, it was Xavier Woods,
Yes, it
Austin
was.
Creed, Consequences Creed is R-Truth's tag team partner. And they lost the titles to Styles and Tomko. But that's where Xavier Woods actually got his start as well.
Okay. And not to discredit the major accomplishment, he is a 53-time 24/7 champion as well. So incredible accomplishment there. Ric Flair, eat your heart out, buddy. Eat your heart out, Flair.
7 title runs away. That is from 60. Man, almost made it.
He could bring it back, and it would just be funny to me. Like
I
he
agree.
really could. You lock him in the Judgment Day. I got a title.
I think Triple H would make it creative and fun too, though.
Yeah, definitely not like make it. It's not a real title, but he just thinks they could definitely do it.
Yeah.
Man, we could keep talking about R-Truth the rest of the night because here we are at the halfway mark. Albert, I'm gonna let you go up next. What's a moment from the Rumble?
Just a quick one. I think that it's always fun to see who WWE likes to put out there to start Rumbles. I was very happy with Naomi being number 2, but Jimmy and Jay 1 and 2.
Yes.
I mean, just what a great way to start the Rumble off hot.
Yeah.
You have like the biggest feud in the world right now that can't even happen because they're on 2 different shows. It's, these 2 guys who have been intertwined their entire careers, and now they are 1 and 2 in the Royal Rumble. I think the only time other than in 1989 where Demolition started in the Royal Rumble off against each other, where tag team members faced each other. Well, I guess in 98 too, Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie. So I mean that's we're like this is history being made too, but it's the first time 2 brothers have started the Royal Rumble off against each other, and I love seeing that.
The emotions on their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great at it. They're so great at it, and I absolutely love it.
Mania is
My
going to be
God, Jay.
fantastic.
What I love the most about it is everyone's yelling. Everybody's yelling, yeet, yeet, yeet. And there I am in the middle of it all. No yeet. No yeet.
Dude, the yeet and no yeeting throughout that entire match was incredible.
So
like
every time,
Russo.
like this was just my section. I don't know about, but in my section, it was literally all just yeets. And every punch is yeet, yeet, yeet. And then he did something, he reversed it. And I was like, no yeet. it was a fantastic time.
Jimmy Uso was the MVP of that entire Rumble. Every time anybody would come in, no yeet, no yeet. All right, no yeet. Let's go. And you try to dab him up, get clocked in the face every time. It was just,
Karrion Kross doing it and saying no yeet accepted or whatever. I was dead.
Great segue, not even planned, because mine was going to be Jimmy Uso. I thought he was fantastic in the Royal Rumble. His character work is sick, and I've been on the Jimmy Uso train since day one. Everybody, I'm not jumping on no bandwagon. I sat here and said he is more entertaining than Jay since day one. And everyone's like, he's so stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's just dumb. Blah 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 blah. And now everyone's like, you know what? Jimmy Uso's kind of funny. Yes, he is. Jimmy knows comedy. And Jimmy's always stand up for Jimmy's. Jimmy Uso is awesome. And I just love someone come in, he's like, what up? And they're like, nope. And then they drop him and he just lay there.
He's like, cool.
He just
the Gunther one was the best to me because he got slapped in the chest and he just he slaps him out like, damn it, come on, why won't everybody be my friend? Like, it was so good.
he's it's fantastic. Jimmy Uso was awesome, and I'm glad he's starting to get his flowers too, because he's not to the extent of Sami Zayn, but to me, the most interesting part of the bloodline over the past few months has been Jimmy Uso. So props to him. He's been fantastic. Tidy, swing it over to you. I intentionally didn't say the one I wanted to because I feel like it's yours. I hope you say it this time, because if you don't, I'm gonna take it next time.
That's good. That's good. It's good because I have one that I think no one's gonna say, and it was my favorite thing about the whole Royal. I mean, Nia Jax had the biggest moments. Period. I'm gonna read a list of stuff that I had to write down of what she did. She was involved in every big moment as well.
Yeah.
All right. Eliminate Zaya, Ivy, Niall, Chelsea repeatedly getting squashed behind Nia and Piper.
No
Nia
yeet.
Piper.
No yeet.
Chelsea was the best.
The amount of time that she had basically squashed Chelsea as well. I think Mia kicks her and then falls back down on Chelsea.
I'm about to mute this man. Keeps talking about
I know, but she was involved in that. Maxine's reverse caterpillar, that was on Nia. Nia shoves everyone off, but they thought she was gonna get thrown out because they kept teasing that, like it's gonna take 11 people to throw her out. Throws out Piper, throws out Katana like it's nothing. Becky Lynch comes out. Who should go right after? Nia. Nia's in the middle of the ring. Nia also she also throws out R-Truth. Another big moment. She threw his ass right back out. That was also Nia. Nia's throat was on the second rope. Bailey was riding on top of her, basically, screaming at Michael Cole, "Watch me win this." Also involved in that. Nia was in the middle of the ring when everyone was in the corner waiting for Jade. As Jade made the big comes out, she goes right to Nia. Also,
Mega pop.
She gets slammed by Jade and then gets body slammed over the top rope by Jade, which also led to Becky with the big ass face. Like, Nia was involved in every damn moment, and she kept playing to the crowd, throwing her hands in the air. And I love that Triple H gave her credit at the end at the press conference of like, man, this is a different Nia Jax, and she's slowly winning people over, improving herself.
I've been a fan of her since day one.
Same here. I always love Nia.
What I think works the best for Nia and why she gets those spots is because I think she is the only true heel in that women's division. Everyone else is kind of in that, like, they're either a babyface or they're in that middle ground. Everyone hates Nia. Some of them for the wrong reasons, but I think that's why she gets those spots, is because she is.
But those people with the wrong reasons are starting to.
Yeah, they are changing their mind. Yeah. It's great,
and I love
it. Yeah, she does. This run is significantly better than anything she'd ever done, and I'm happy for her. I know
this might sound really weird, but when she got released, it was the best thing that happened for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I think she got a couple of months to go back, recharge. She got off TV for a little while. People kind of forgot all the negativity, and when she came back, Triple H booked her very, very well. And it wasn't, I'm not gonna put her on every week and overexpose her. She's gonna come on TV when she needs to be on TV, when we have something for her, and she's gonna look dominant until we need somebody to go over her to get that the rub for it. And it was perfect. She's been dominant this entire time. Even that fatal 5-way at Crown Jewel, she was the one who was in control in that entire match. She dominated this Royal Rumble, and it was nobody stopped her until Jade Cargill got in there.
I don't think a lot of people believe she was even going to beat Becky a few weeks ago.
Yeah, color me shocked. I was like, what the just happened?
I mean, people gave her crap for when she first came back because she forgot to grab the ropes and squished Rhea a little harder. And people are like, oh, now she's back. Here we go. And then she's just, I think people are starting to see like crap happens in wrestling.
Yes.
It's not, you can't sit there and be like, oh, well, wrestling's perfection. Then you go in there and do it. Like,
my counter argument to that, the whole, well, she dropped on her too hard. If she was wrestling in Stardom or whatever, any other one, everyone would be like, man, they really lay it in over there. But in WWE, it's like she's completely unsafe. Stop it, people. Stop it. Nia's been fantastic, and I'm glad she got all those moments. It was fantastic.
Best thing about the Rumbles. Say it one more time.
There you go. I like it, Tidy. All right, Matt. Second round is up on you. You were talking about some Braun. We can get on Braun because I was very excited about this one.
Yeah. So, man, Braun killed it. I like the day Braun came in when NXT 2.0 came in. I was like, he's got that look, man. He's gonna do big things. I guarantee it. And you get people that talk crap about Braun. Sometimes I'm like, Braun again, but I can't sit there and say I hate his in-ring work. Like, he's becoming like bigger and better every single week. the intensity and the speed that dude has, dude, I've never seen anybody move faster on a spear like ever. It's insane how fast this dude goes. And just the breakout moments, man. He had so many eliminations in this match. The stare down with Omos and throwing Omos over, like just that, Jimmy's favorite knocks Braun out of the ring. What really upsets me though is people sit there and say like, "Oh, I don't think Braun was supposed to be in there. He was supposed to get Brock's spot," and I don't think that was the case. I think McAfee was supposed to get that spot, and it would have gone a little bit longer if that was the case. So that's why they slowed the ending of the match or the Royal Rumble down a little bit, is because Brock was supposed to be in there longer and messed everything up. But I don't think Braun. I think Braun absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I think Braun was definitely supposed to be in the Rumble, and I think he was supposed to come in Pat McAfee's spot, because Pat said I had no idea. Like, and you could kind of because he was wearing some loafers and stuff. Like he was like, yeah, he shouldn't have been in it. I think that was supposed to be Braun's. He was definitely supposed to be in it. I don't think he was going to get the moments he got, but man, did he make the most of them. Because I didn't like Braun Breaker as a babyface in NXT. I thought he was lame. It was just stale and lame, and I was like, I'm done with this. The second they turned him heel, I said, that's what he needed. And he's killed it ever since. And last night
he even cut backstage afterwards, though. Like, it was kind of face-ish. Like, again, like making jokes, but it felt different because he went through that heel phase.
Yeah.
Well, what's been going on in NXT is that he's been teaming up with Corbin, and Corbin's been kind of, he's not exactly acting like a heel anymore. Corbin's just calling out his dumb ideas for the name of their tag team, but Braun's being more vulnerable and letting his dumbass ideas hang out in the air, and it's honestly kind of funny and likable.
He's showing range.
He's learned something.
Yeah,
he's definitely learned something. He's more likable now. Yeah, and I appreciate that about him.
I like the goofy stuff because, again, it's not that he needs to do that, because he definitely shouldn't be doing it. I think it's just to show range, so that when he gets the call up, that you can put him in multiple positions and it's going to work. And again, last night he was clearly operating as a babyface, and it was awesome. It was one thing I just thought of right now is,
what if Braun and Baron win this tournament, Dusty Rhodes Classics, and Braun's talking about this being his main roster call up, and Baron Corbin's still a free agent. They come up together and be another tag team on the main roster. I mean, that'll give Baron something to do too.
So we'll get more to that when it's WrestleMania match time, because I have a great one for everybody. We'll move on though to Albert for your second spot on this list. What you got for us?
The return of Andrade. I think that I look, for me. I think that Andrade has been one of those guys that you put him with the right person. I think that they had the right pairing with Zelina Vega in WWE. You put him with the right person to cut a promo for him. He is going to be, a megastar there. I think Triple H really likes him. I think that his style
loves him.
And I think his style, is going to lend itself to to be on SmackDown with guys like Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar. Eventually, Rey Mysterio comes back to that program.
Zelina's there.
Zelina's over there already.
History.
Intertwining stories.
Exactly. And it kind of almost makes sense, in a way. Like, he kind of turned his back on Santos, but Legado maybe can use a fourth guy when Rey Mysterio comes back. So look, there's a lot of stories that maybe but there's a lot of stories I think that can be told with Andrade. I'm really happy to see him back. I think that he lost a lot of his desire towards the end there in AEW, and then you kind of saw it when they started booking him a little bit better. He started
in the tournament back. You definitely saw something click with him.
Yeah, and that the mask and the crown on his entrance, absolute fire.
Yeah. Just further on the Triple H thing, he's a big fan. I remember we listened to the press conference on the way home today, and he had mentioned Andrade, and he was saying that he goes, it wasn't his time, but he might not have been his time before, but the time for him to really show what he got or what he has is definitely now. He'll definitely be able to break through and show everyone what he's capable of and how far he can go. And I feel like that was kind of a shot at Vince. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing with Andrade. I definitely do. And we're going to make something with him. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big Andrade fan. I know he's great. I'm not saying anything other than I'm just not a fan. He's just not for me. But I am excited to see if Triple H can do something with him that the previous ownership couldn't. So, and he got a pretty good pop. I wasn't expecting
Yes,
it.
he did.
I heard it and I was like, damn, people like him. And then it kept going. I was like, okay, people really like Andrade. This is kind of crazy. But
We had
good
this
for
at
him.
one point. We could see it again soon. 'Cause
but not bad, not bad. So I'll now switch it up over to the women's again, and I'm going to talk about a Chelsea Green because
So
she
good.
was the MVP of the entire show, in my opinion. Because my God, nobody in wrestling today makes the most out of the time they are given, and usually they only give her little bits. They said, we're going to let you flourish tonight. Kind of like what they've been doing with Truth. They give him a little bit more time and he flourishes. They gave Chelsea a lot of time. And I was literally, I got a few followers with me when I started doing it where I was like, Chelsea, we were yelling at her. Help Piper, run away. We were just so invested.
Run
We
away.
wanted her to just go so far. And she was fantastic. The just bump spot in the corner, Piper running, like she was so good. And she continues to just impress more and more each time she gets a chance to. So Chelsea Green was phenomenal. And if anybody is still questioning that hire, stop. Go watch something else because she is WWE through and through with what she's doing. She's fantastic. And if she doesn't win Money in the Bank, I'm going to riot. That's what I say with that.
a few years ago, Billie Kay had that spot in the Royal Rumble where she had that, really fun, here's my resume, let's go in and tag up together thing.
Mhm.
I thought that was one of the funnier, things that they did in the Women's Royal Rumble. Chelsea this year, first of all, just jumping in and almost getting eliminated immediately and then hanging out twice, more than 5 seconds. Like, she's great. Everything she does screams, I'm a star. And she doesn't need to take herself seriously. No one needs to take her seriously. It doesn't make a difference. But when the time comes where she needs to be serious, she's going to be able to turn it on. She's the perfect character right now. She's so much fun to watch. And every time she's on TV, you have to pay attention to what she's doing.
And she'll take a bump. She is
Yeah.
not afraid to take a bump.
Her work in TNA when she was there, I mean, I think this sets it up for making her perform even bigger in a
Mhm.
bigger spotlight too. And I think she's killing it. I mean, she killed it when she was in TNA. She killed it again now. The promo she did with Byron afterwards was funny, super funny. Like he's like, well, you lasted more than last year. She's like, not now, Byron. I love it. She's great.
Strangely enough, I didn't like Chelsea before, but then I tuned in to watch TNA. It was Slammiversary 2022, and I was watching Chelsea, and I was like, this is not the same Chelsea Green I saw before. And I kind of started paying more attention to her. I was like, yo, she's actually really cool. I like her.
Yep.
And then she comes back to WWE, and I'm like, this is some of the best character work they got going, like hands down. And I'm just happy that she continues to get the spots in the moments because she's fantastic.
Top 5 characters in all professional wrestling right now, easily.
Yeah.
Hands down. And her husband just has to be in that list as well. How about that? The power couple, the true power couple. Becky and Seth take a back seat. It's Cardona and Chelsea Green time. Tidy, what's up with you? Number 2 spot. What you got for us?
All right, since my Bailey won the Rumble, like I so fucking happy. All right, so Bailey's it's gonna be a 2-part, but mostly Bailey's facial expressions. When Asuka shows up, Bailey just lets everybody know. The commentators now have to speak on it. She was conflicted seeing Asuka come in, like, but this is my story kind of thing is what she's doing. Freaking loved it. Bailey doing the other things in the match, whether she's running around just punching people in the head as she's just walking by. Freaking love Bailey. Her shoving Bianca after Bianca, KOD's Jordan Grace out.
Yeah.
She just comes from behind her and shoves the shit out of her. She gives her a face. It's not like she didn't do a wrestling move. She just shoved her and gave her that face. Like, what the hell, dude? You get a bigger moment than me? Whatever it is, her yelling at Michael Cole, watch me with this. And she's like cowboy riding Nia. And then the other thing was, like, I love facial expressions. The one that I think was the biggest tonight was Becky's face on the outside with the other 4 girls, and they show that when they show the cam, you got Jade sitting there looking determined, like, well, this is going to be me next year.
Yeah.
And then you got Liv looking laid back with that little crazy look in her eye. I'm like, okay, there's Liv. And then you got Bianca just tired in the corner. But then they show Becky's face at first. Her facials of just knowing that she wants to be a part of Mania and that she's watching, one of her best friends, Bailey, win it.
She looked like
I love Becky so much. It literally just added its own story into everything.
Yeah.
It added so much to the facials, whether it's Jay giving that face of it's my brother right there.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy's right there. Some people really killed the facials tonight.
Yeah.
It adds more story. The commentators have to speak on it.
Yeah, Becky had that face that Cody had at the end of WrestleMania last year. That's what it was. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. All right. We have now reached the final roundabout on this mat. You better make it good. Third and final spot on the best of WrestleMania. Royal Rumble moment. What it is.
Cody winning. We're going to talk about Cody winning because
Yes, we will.
I'm just going to say this, man. I've been a Cody fan since day one. Since day one, he comes backstage with Dusty. Even his OVW days, I've been a fan of Cody Rhodes since day one. Everything he's done, incredible. Making that jump, it kind of hurt me a little bit because I was like, he's leaving WWE, and this is one of my guys.
Yeah.
How am I going to watch him on TV anymore? I can't get TNA. And then AEW came around, and it was like, man, screw WWE, screw WWE. And I was like, I still liked Cody, though. And when people were booing him, it was upsetting me.
Yeah.
And Cody coming back at Mania when he did was my favorite moment in WrestleMania history, obviously. But Cody's story ever since he's been back, absolutely incredible. And, you see people all over social media last night that were like, Cody again. Oh, yeah, Cody again. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. CM Punk can still get his shot at Seth.
Yep.
He's on Raw. Cody has to get his story to Roman in the only logical sense because people keep complaining about, there's supposed to be brand split and you got somebody. The only logical thing that made sense was Cody winning this Rumble and choosing Roman Reigns. But the whole story, man, is it going to be Punk? Is it going to be Cody? Are we torn here? What's happening? I thought it was going to be The Rock. I'm going to be totally honest. I thought he was coming out. I thought that was going to be it, whatever. But Cody truly winning because you didn't know who was going to win was absolutely incredible.
To touch on the Cody winning the Rumble thing, I thought they could have still done it because Nick Aldis and Cody have history. I thought that's how they were going to tie it in because Nick Aldis has been having issues with Roman, so he could have just been like, well, I have a real nice surprise for you. Put Cody in the chamber and he wins. I thought that's the way we were going to go. I'm not mad he won the Rumble because he needs to be Roman's opponent at WrestleMania. I've been saying this since he came back last year. I've been preaching. I said he should lose last year's Mania and he should win it this year. Tidy can vouch for me. I've been screaming it ever since. But the thing I think is funny about the backlash about Cody winning again is literally less than a week ago, people were mad that he was going to lose his spot to The Rock. So what WWE does is says, nope, he's winning the Rumble. He's not losing his spot. And now people are like, why is he winning? Shut the
How many people were saying too, here we go, Cody getting shoved down our throat. Why are you just AEW marks that hate WWE and mad that he's getting these spots?
This is the indicative of every single time somebody gets over. And this is what Triple H tried his best to avoid. People were really upset that Cody didn't win last year. And Triple H's idea was, hey, if we do the same thing as we did with John Cena and Roman Reigns, we literally take him and shove them down your throats and say, okay, we're going to put the title on you. You're going to beat everybody. Even though they didn't do that with Roman. Roman had 4 horrible title reigns before this one. He held the title for 26 days each.
Because they tried to shove him down our throat.
Right. But because it started in Philly, I just rewatched that Rumble. It started in Philly. They booed him out of the stadium in Philly because they wanted it to be Daniel Bryan 2 years in a row. And when the crowd doesn't get what they want, they tend to be vocal and whiny and brats. And that's what happened. And that started a downward trajectory for Roman. They didn't want Cody to go through this. And the idea was, let's hold it off. we'll give him a full year to everybody's still going to support him because they want to see him finish the story. It's all anybody keeps talking about. And now here we are. He wins the Rumble, and people are starting to complain. And it's the same thing that I keep saying all the time. Those are the wrestling fans you don't pay any attention to.
No. And the finish the story thing is so good because they've literally turned it into a storyline with so many other people.
Right. And Cody even said it during the press conference. He was like, I even hate the finish the story thing now because now it seems like everybody's got a story to finish. CM Punk's got a story. Jey Uso's got a story. Sami Zayn's got a story. I'm tired of it. And I'm so glad that Cody said it because he's right.
I'm not. I think it's fantastic. If the fact that they spiderwebbed it out to everybody, I think makes it cool. Because then it takes away from, we're just waiting for Cody to finish his story. No, there are a lot of people who have stories. And the fact that we're going to pretend like that's not a thing is kind of crazy. That's why we're watching. We're invested in their stories and we want to see them reach it. I know this man, he's dying to wait for Sami to finish his story. I'm right there with him.
Oh!
I love that they did that because I think it makes Cody's even more impactful. The way they've handled this is genius. And anybody that's mad about it now, they won't be come WrestleMania when Cody wins because making us wait that extra year is going to make us appreciate him as champion, and it's going to be awesome. But Albert, it is now your final time. You better make it good. Hey, Matt had a good one because Cody, that's a fantastic topic. I'm glad he brought it up because here I am praising Cody a year after crapping on him because he was taking Sami's spot. So, Albert, floor is yours. Number 3, make it good.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Jade Cargill. Let's talk about Bianca Belair.
Let's talk about son of a
staring each other, press slamming Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan, dropping them off, depositing them, and then staring down each other, and zero interaction between the two of them. They got cut off before they can even interact. It's WrestleMania written all over it. They both look, walk, talk, act like stars. Jade came in and immediately established herself as one of the women to watch in that division, one of the top women in that division. And I think between her now having this interaction with Bianca Belair, this is going to be one of the best WrestleMania setup matches that we're going to see. They're just absolutely almost mirror images of each other in so many different ways, but still so different that it's that their contrasts and their similarities are just going to bring out like the best in each other. And I cannot wait to see it.
Absolutely. 1,000. And again, I don't know how it came through on the TV, but her pop was insane.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah.
They came unglued for Jade. And I'm like, this is something. Like, there's something to her. And I'm so happy she got a moment. WWE ain't fumbled her, everybody. They were just waiting for the right opportune time. And it happened because that was fantastic.
Now, do we see her more regularly now, or is it going to be
for sure.
sporadic until Mania?
For sure. She'll be on SmackDown this week for sure.
Jimmy and I have been preaching that since Triple H has taken over and he's rehired people, he hasn't brought them back just to put them on TV.
Yeah.
He's brought them back when he's got something for them. They wanted Jade to have this moment, just like they signed Carlito for a while. They signed AOP for a while. When they had the spot for them, they put them on TV instead of just throwing them out there, seeing what happened because we're paying them. No, let's put them on TV when it makes sense. Jade made perfect sense. That pop was perfect because exactly where they were. Everybody there knows who she is. Her entire wrestling career basically happened there.
They create moments for their people. They don't rush them on because that's when people get lost in the shuffle. We see it happen quite a bit, and we don't need to see it anymore. Just wait for the opportune time, and that's what they've been doing. And Jade's was perfect. I saw some people were like, I don't think she's going to be at the Rumble. I was like, no, she's definitely going to be at the Rumble. This is the moment they've been waiting for, and she's going to be fantastic. And again, that was one of my favorite moments of the thing. So I'm glad you brought it up so I can talk about something else. Because everything we've been talking about so far has revolved around Rumble matches. So I'm here to talk about something that I was mad about last week when we were doing predictions. Because I sat here and said, I swear if I have to sit in that arena and watch Kevin Owens get pinned by Logan Paul, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. And they gave me the most brilliant finish to that match they could have possibly done. And I think they deserve all the flowers, chef's kiss, everything in the world for it. Because I was like, he's winning the title. And then the ref did the, hey, and I'm like, his foot isn't on the rope. What are we doing? He's in the center of the ring. What would he do? And then I was like, oh, he saw the knuckles. No. And then Logan Paul's, bragging like, I did it. And then Kevin was like, no.
Yeah.
And then he went and put him through the table. I'm like, this is awesome. My son loves Logan Paul. He was so upset about it, and all I could do was laugh in his face the whole time. So I was like, yes, Kevin Owens rules. Logan Paul sucks. And then we get to see it again in Perth. So I'm curious to see where that goes. I have an idea where it might go. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the finish that was brilliant. I don't know if it's ever been done before. Maybe it has. I don't care. I loved it in the moment, and it was
Tidy. I'm gonna give Tidy credit here. Tidy has been saying for the past 2 months, Logan Paul is a perfect heel. Man, is he ever. Just the instigation that he, just puts out there whenever he's in that ring. He has the most punchable face I've ever seen in my entire life. He really does, and I like, there's parts of me where I'm like, man, one of my friends who I watched the show with last night said, man, if he was not Logan Paul, he was just, John Smith from, Western Kentucky, and he came into the wrestling industry, he'd be the number one guy, be the biggest guy in the world right now because of how quickly he's adapted to it. It's unbelievable that a celebrity can come in and can adapt this quickly. That finish was, absolutely the best thing possible.
My brother said the same thing. Like, my brother doesn't watch pro wrestling ever. And like, he was watching the Rumble last night and he's like, dude, Logan Paul's ridiculously good. Ridiculous. And I'm like, I think he's the best celeb turned pro wrestler ever.
Oh, for sure. 1,000%. Not even close.
And here's the thing. If he's there more regularly now that apparently he signed a full-time contract, dude, put him with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory in a faction and make them like the social media megastars or something, because they all have like their media and they're all invested. Like, that'd be the perfect faction for this day and age for the three of them.
And what makes that idea so perfect is that when it comes to an end and people got to go their separate ways, Logan Paul is a great way to get people to start cheering for Austin Theory. A great way. And those two would have a magical match because Austin Theory is incredible. So that's a good shout. I like that. Sorry, my face. I just saw the score to the Lions 49ers game, and I am just distraught as hell.
I know. Unbelievable, huh?
Man, I was going to watch the Super Bowl this year. Now I'm not. So anyway, Tidy, you're up last. You better make it good because not only is this your last round, you are the last man with the top moment from the Royal Rumble. So you got to make it good before we go to the WrestleMania matches.
Okay, so my thing, a little bit of the ending with Cody winning. Sammy coming out at number 30. I was like, there's no way he can win now. It's ironic. Cody came out as 30, so Sammy can't win. It's too ironic. And it brought up a bunch of Russia feelings because I was like really hating Cody last year. But I never really hated him to the fact of like, I didn't think he couldn't convince me. And I said it a couple times. He's going to convince me. Watch half the doc. It's like, he's going to convince me. I can't finish the rest of the doc. I'll probably love him. And then
you will, bro. It's so good.
No, I finished it. I finished it.
Okay, that's right. You did. Okay.
I love Cody. And then everything leading up to him getting, I think that when he said that to CM Punk, but like my dad said as a cowboy, whatever that one quote, I have to go right through you. And he bumps the shoulder, walks through him. I was like, that's what it is. The dude's literally playing a hero. I'm like, and everybody's shoving him down. And I'm like, man, that makes me really love him. And it crescendoed at the end as he won. Why? Because like the conference, I was thinking back when he said there's, it's hard to be a Cody fan. This is for the Cody fans. Like there were 0 fans of Stardust. You know what? I want to say something. I was a fucking huge fan of Stardust. Like we did a WrestleMania at my house and I had all my friends come over. And it's when he was fighting Green Arrow. And my friend was really big. And it's the only reason she even came because she loved the Green Arrow show. We would geek out on Green Arrow. I was like, did you know that he's going to be at WrestleMania? and then that got her to come. And then I'm explaining the Stardust character to her. I was like, he's got this brother. And, Goldust. And I love Goldust. And then they did Stardust. And he leans so much into it. He has like this whole hiss and snap thing. And with his red eyes, fucking love Stardust. He was like literally probably my favorite guy back then when I was first starting to rewatch and get into wrestling. So when he said that, and then I'm thinking about all this stuff, it was when Roman got up. Roman got up, put his title in the air, and then it made it official. Now give me the damn story. Now cook the damn story, because you kind of been hinting at it. But now I want the whole thing. You always need a good challenger. And Roman raises that title up and he's talking shit. And Cody's looking back at him. And it's making me think Roman literally is not giving him any credit. Roman's still like, you're not on my level. But that's how I took it when I saw it.
Okay.
Like, Roman's like, you're not good enough and you're not ever going to be good enough. And that's Roman's character. And I'm like, now it's time for the story. I fucking love it so much.
So did you see
more
the
than I
clip?
ever thought?
Did you see the clip of him? Because the fans started chanting at him because he was in a press box, and the fans below him started chanting at him as like something along the lines of like, it's over for you, or something like that. And
wow.
his confidence, that confident face he had before, started turning into like real worry.
That
Like,
was cool.
like my empire is crumbled. What is going? Like, it was fantastic work by Roman. I'm so tired of people talking shit about Roman, because my God, he's so good at what he does.
Roman's my guy.
I know he doesn't come around a lot. I understand if you don't like that about him, but when he's there, he is so good at what he does. And just that little thing right there was just like, that made the Cody thing all the more better. Just because he's like, fuck.
People say David and Goliath all the time, but literally Roman is Goliath and he is David. And I freaking love it. It like the last 2 months, Cody has beyond sold me more than I thought. It's brilliant. It's literally brilliant. And Triple H's nod to him, like he's the perfect human being. He's the right human being at the right time. Like literally giving the nod that he's the guy. And I'm watching Cody talk about how he feels about his mom.
Yeah.
And like, you know, this is for more of my mom. And he starts to like cry a bit. I'm like, how can you not love him? The dude's a wonderful human being facing larger than life heel. Can the wonderful human being actually beat this larger than life heel that is bigger than anybody? I freaking love it. Sorry, that's my end.
The thing that upset me is if Cody goes to Mania and loses again.
See, I'm with you. And again, I wouldn't call myself a Cody guy, but again, I've always since last year, since he came back from the injury, or they said he was coming back, I said he shouldn't win the Rumble, or he shouldn't go to WrestleMania and win. He shouldn't have won the Rumble, in my opinion, last year, but he did. And I bought into it. That's part of the story now, and I was wrong. I'll admit it. But he shouldn't have won at WrestleMania because he beat Seth Rollins 3 times in a row, one time with no arm. Then he came back, wins the Rumble right out the gate, throws Gunther over the top, and then he comes in and beats Roman Reigns for the title. Then what? You literally win everything. I have no reason to think you're ever going to lose the title. You're worse than John Cena was. So him losing made me feel like, okay, now I can get behind you, because now I feel like you are a true baby face. You're not this guy who just gets everything you want and need. And I'm so ready for the moment.
And it's
his emotion just tells a different story too.
Yeah. He's very good at it.
It's the difference of, everybody talks about the underdog story. There's no way that people like Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan, when people talk about underdogs, the reason why they were so good is because they faced so much adversity and they lost.
Yes.
You can't make Cody an underdog, because they try to do that with Cena all the time. They were like, Cena, the ultimate underdog. No, he's not. When he holds the title for 380 days straight and he beats everybody in his path, he's not an underdog.
He's an FU's on like 7 people at once. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy for him. I truly am. And again, last year I was spitting a completely different tune. So it's real when I'm sitting here saying, like, I'm happy for him. And every time I see Cody doing interviews, doing things with the fans, I just like him more and more and more. He is truly the guy they should be strapping the rocket to now more than ever. Like, seriously, more than ever. So now we're going to move on to the WrestleMania matches. We'll make these a little bit quick so we can get to the guestion of the week. We'll just a little quick, 2 minutes probably a piece on them. And again, we will start. I'm going to start with Albert this time. A match from that you think is going to happen at WrestleMania because of what we saw last night.
All right, I think I'll go a little bit different. Bayley versus Io Sky. I think that everybody is.
I was thinking this. I
think everybody's thinking it's going to be Bayley versus Rhea, but I think that Bayley's going to come out on SmackDown and she's going to go, all right, I did it for you guys. I did it for all of us. Now it's time to celebrate. And that's where we're going to get the whole evolution, elimination of Bayley out of Damage Control. She's going to get the axe, because I think the plan from the beginning for Damage Control was when Bayley fails, we can kick her out of the group. Oh crap, wait, she won?
Yeah.
Now what do we do? And now we get a good story where Io and and Dakota are trying to
kiss up to her. I think they're
Yeah.
gonna try to do. Is
A
They're
little
gonna
gonna be
start
bit.
acting nice with her now.
Right,
now
right.
you're
Now
nice.
they're going to be like, "Oh, you
wouldn't
did
even
it! You
high-five me
won!"
last night.
Right, and then slowly but surely, as much as Bailey keeps saying, "I'm gonna, I'm gonna go after Rhea. I'm gonna go after Rhea," something's gonna happen where it's gonna change everything, and we're gonna get Bailey versus Io, and I think that we're gonna finally get not only a Bailey singles match at WrestleMania, but Bailey's gonna win a major women's championship at WrestleMania, and I don't think there's a more deserving human being on the entire WWE roster than Bailey.
Maybe Drew, but they're neck and
Still
neck.
don't want
It's
it.
neck and neck. I might add 2 tidbits to that before I go to mine. One, yes, Bailey and Io is the way to go. I noticed last night Bailey tried to do the high fives with Asuka, and Asuka turned her down and went back to business. But then they did something together again, and Asuka went for it, and Bailey just did the same thing to her, which
Yes,
is the
she did.
first time Bailey has acted that way towards them. So that's it's coming.
Yep.
And this is gonna sound absolutely crazy because of how many CM Punk, we have a lot of star power, and WrestleMania 4 is a big deal. But if you look at, and I hate ratings and all that, but I will pay attention to certain things. And the Damage Control segments have been dominating the ratings on SmackDown. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Bailey and Io actually gets the main event of night 1. I don't, because of that reason right there. Because people are tuning in to watch it and they're invested. So, and she deserves that. 1,000. I would be like, yeah, Punk, you gotta wait another year. Too bad, bud. Sorry. Bailey's time is now. So
As long as she main events, I'm okay with whoever she
Yeah.
fights. That's why
Yeah.
I was more for her and Rhea.
I know it's a hard sell because of Io, and everyone's like, yeah, right. Io's in the main event. But again, if you look at the ratings on SmackDown, they've essentially taken the role of the Bloodline. when they're peaking, it's because of Damage Control. So
Their storyline has just been developing ever since we had Asuka join and Kyrie come back and everything like that. They've just, people gave them crap from the beginning, and I was a fan of them since day one. I was like, something special is coming out of this. You just got to give it time. People don't want things to build.
no,
People just
they
are
want
so
it now.
quick. Right. They just are so quick to jump on it.
Damn,
and it's
TikTok.
like, give it time, let it build. And here we are. Bailey's getting that shot at Mania one way or another. Her first singles match after being with the company for how long now? 10 years, a decade? Like, she deserves this opportunity.
Yeah.
There's so many people that you've seen pass her up. Nobody deserved it more.
And she's been a professional about it the entire
That's what
time.
Triple H said. Her consistency, her being that one constant. She's easily looked over because she's so much of a constant. I love that he gave her that prop.
She reminds me of Scott Hall because she is so good at what she does, but she's too giving to an extent. That was, I think, what held Scott Hall back to there are other things clearly, but he was a very giving performer. He was like, yeah, I'll let people beat me if it helps them. And that's what Bailey does. So,
and I think that's where Hunter comes into play too, is because he sees the people that deserve. He worked with the people that deserved. So that's where he sees the people that are deserving. I mean, not saying that everybody that, I think is deserving, he's seeing it right now, but he will find something for him.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it was also him referring to the whole idea that it took a while for the Damage Control story to really take off. But you know what? They had to reintroduce Dakota. They had to reintroduce Io. And, she was the one to do that. And then what do you know? Here's Kyrie with Asuka. It took a while to get there. And Bailey was willing to take those bullets. I love it.
So, all right, my match is a little bit off the wall, but it's because I saw something last night and I went back and I was like, wait a second, that's going to cause a problem. Braun Breaker versus, I hate to say this because I think Solo Sikoa. And I'm going to say it because of this. Roman Reigns sent Paul Heyman down to corner with Paul Heyman on that NXT show that got super stacked when they went up against Dynamite. And Paul Heyman was there working with Braun. He was giving him some information. He was on his, he was helping him. And everyone's like, oh, when Braun comes up, he'll be the next Paul Heyman guy. Who did Braun Breaker eliminate last night?
Jimmy Uso.
Jimmy Uso. We know it's not going to be Jimmy because Jimmy and Jay is the way to go there. And I was thinking Solo and Randy was probably the way to go there. But we got a wrench thrown in plans. So we got to start kind of changing some things around. And I think there's no better way because they've wrestled in NXT, I believe, right, Tidy?
Who? Sorry, I'm
Braun and Solo.
I think so once.
I can't recall.
I'm assuming there's some kind of familiarity with them. So that's good for them to be on that big of a stage, working with people that they are familiar with, especially Braun, since he's going to be new to the big lights and glamour and all that. And I think that's a great way for Braun. It's a person Braun can beat that won't hurt Solo long term and really establish himself as, oh, Braun is that guy. And it ties into, again, past things that have happened. And as Not Sam has taught me more than anything, everything matters. And him eliminating Jimmy Uso couldn't have been just a coincidence. That's
I think it has to be Randy and Solo.
I thought that too. But again, seeing him eliminate Jimmy and having the ties to the bloodline and stuff, I my mind goes places sometimes. I'm a mad scientist.
So where do you think Randy goes from here?
I don't know. But again, I think I'm not going to bring up the news because I hate it, but there was something that happened last week that really kind of threw a monkey wrench into some plans. And I think this is kind of like a pivot that they've made. Probably ain't going to happen. I might just be talking crazy, but that's just me, but because of what I saw.
It's funny. I think I know what you're talking about, and I actually saw the Braun thing go in a different direction, and I thought that it was a little setup for Braun and Gunther.
Yeah, because everyone thought but I wouldn't be surprised if that was a thing. I would hate to see Braun come in and beat Gunther though at WrestleMania because
I don't think he has to win immediately.
There's more deserving people. Chad Gable versus Gunther is a better WrestleMania match to me.
You're not wrong, but I think if they're going to really want to make Braun to be the guy, him coming up, I think I said this a while ago too.
Yeah, you have
to take the belt off of Gunther. Strap a rocket to the kid from day one.
I'm the last guy that beat you, Gunther. Like, yeah, there's something there for sure.
It's there, yeah.
I saw something happen in the Rumble, and I know sometimes stories get created that way, and there's history, so that's where my mind.
I'm not going to lie though. I thought the same thing when he eliminated Jimmy. I went, "Oh, wait a minute,
that's not right."
Isn't that the guy he shouldn't have gone after there?
They messed up there.
Yeah.
So that's my match, Braun and Solo, and it would be awesome. We're highlighting youngsters on the biggest WrestleMania of all time. You want that? That's what Triple H is wanting to do. So yeah, Tidy. What about you, Maine?
I know there's this thing with Punk versus Seth. Now that's free to do, but I think something else. I think because Sammy, he's gotten in every big baby face's face already. I don't think he's gotten Jay's face, but he hasn't gotten in Sammy's face. CM Punk hasn't gotten in Sammy's face. And the fact that Sammy's going to want Drew, and the fact that, no, it's more than that. It's Punk did some heelish shit. He kept pointing at the sign and being cocky. He did the whole Triple H pedigree. He's like, didn't that guy ever do that move? He was taking his sweet ass time, and it was slowed down so dramatically. I'm like, man, Punk is acting like kind of an ass right now. I think Cody's truly going to win it because of this. He was doing heelish shit, taking his time, and should have finished it, but he didn't. So, and that's the one thing I want. Somewhere between Drew beefing with Sammy, I think Punk's gonna get in Sammy's face, and I'm gonna love it. That's what I want for WrestleMania instead of Punk versus and then Drew can finally get versus Seth.
You remember my list? I said Punk and Sammy would be magical as long as Punk was a heel. That. I'm not mad at that at all.
It put it into my whole brain space. So I was like, when I saw him doing that, I was like, who's that number 30 coming out? Man, Punk and Sammy would cook.
That's a great opening match to either night too. Like that's a great opening match. That's one that the crowd is getting fully invested in. So that's a great one, Tidy. I like that one and I appreciate it. But so now it's Matt's turn.
When do we think Punk would main event Mania then to finish his
next year? And I'll say this, I was talking to a buddy about this. The rumor is that it's going to be in Minneapolis next year. Minneapolis doesn't scream WrestleMania city to me, but it could be. It's a great city. I love Minneapolis. It's fantastic. But the rumor for Royal Rumble was Miami. So I think of vicinities, like what's close to Minneapolis that they could host a WrestleMania and it would be an awesome deal. Yeah. Oh, Chicago's pretty close to Minneapolis. So I think even if it is in Minneapolis, I think Punk probably main events one next year. I don't think giving it to him right away would be the smart thing to do because, like, hey, you got to prove that you're not going to screw this up, man.
Yeah.
We're not just going to give you the keys of the kingdom now, unless he faces Stone Cold, which was the crazy rumor. Then he's getting the main event, and we're all just gonna.
Yeah, then who cares? Then we got the
Yeah,
dream
yeah,
match.
who
cares?
really
Yeah.
cares at that point? But yeah, I think next year he's gonna get it. That's what I think.
No,
But
that's
now. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just real quick. That's a big thing that we're not getting the dream match with The Rock this year. This is the perfect year to do it. If you want to pivot to anything else, you can do Sammy versus Drew versus Seth for the title in a triple threat match if you want. Punk and Austin.
A 4-way.
Or if we could do Punk, Sammy, Drew, and Rollins in a 4-way.
I want Punk and Austin.
Well, clearly that's what we want.
Yeah,
Look, we're not gonna get what we want all the
We can
time.
do that. Listen, if we can do it, let's do it. Let's do it.
Matt, you're on the clock. What match did you see happening last night?
So now that you guys talked me out of it, I originally considered Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Waller and Theory, just for a fun match. I mean, all four are talented. You got the young team that's doing some fun stuff, I think,
Yeah.
and you have the veterans, right? You could have something fun there, especially with the interaction you've been getting. But now that you said Sammy with that, it kind of makes that one a little bit 50-50. So I wrote this down, just some matches on here. We talked based on a lot of them, but I'm gonna have to say that we see Jade versus Bianca.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if it came on TV, but they did a shot of it where they did the face off and they panned out, and the WrestleMania thing was in the back. I was like, even Amanda, my girl, she like looked right at me and goes, "That's it," and I'm like, "Yep, that's it. You're learning. I like it."
What about this, though?
Just
What about the Roman? I mean, there's this guy on the Twitter. I think it's Roman Reigns SCN or whatever. But he's like, man, give that match time to cook and give it for next WrestleMania. Like
I
he was saying, make a build.
I say next Mania we do Jade versus Charlotte.
I went Charlotte versus everybody. So yeah,
Bianca Charlotte's the one next year because Bianca has to get that fourth horsewoman.
Well, I think that we'll see something special with Jade. I think one way or another. But based off of everything that happened last night, I mean, the only other person I see it is Nia.
Well, I was going to say Becky as well. I was thinking Becky.
I think Becky's going after Rhea.
I think so too.
Perth.
I wrote some match ideas down. I got kind of thrown off earlier by saying I thought Gunther versus Kaiser.
I think that's the Germany main event. That's what I think you do at the Germany main event.
That's a good call.
Yeah. And I've even said I think Kaiser should dethrone him as long as you start building them now.
Yeah.
But
so Jimmy, I gotta ask, if you think that Becky and Rhea happens in Perth, you think that the WrestleMania match is Rhea versus Liv?
I absolutely 1000% do. I'm sticking to this. I'm not backing off. And I've even given you legit reason. It's not like I just want it to happen because I have this crazy booking fantasy. I literally have reasons for it.
I know you do.
Sense.
I just think
Liv's face at the end. Liv didn't seem phased at all. Like
because she's
crazy.
crazy.
I'm still getting to Rhea. I think that was on. You
she's
saw
like,
her face.
I got Plan B.
In Perth
by the name of Dirty Dom. That's what's
happening. Okay.
I think we got it backwards. I think Becky gets the title shot at Mania. I think that she has the match with Liv in Perth.
It could. I look at this with Becky. This is something I haven't brought up with Becky too, to say she won't take that match at Mania, is that Becky is so giving to the women's division. I think she would gladly take a step back and have that main event at Australia so that Liv Morgan could have a moment at Mania. That's just the kind of person Becky is.
At Mania, do we see her facing somebody like Tiffany Stratton and getting called up? Nia versus Jade. We get Becky versus Tiffany. We get Liv versus Rhea.
Becky versus Cardi B.
Becky already did the Tiffany thing though with NXT, but
and it was fantastic.
Tiffany could want revenge, and that could work.
Yeah.
Huh.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Becky and Rhea because that was the idea for the longest time. But Liv getting hurt, it's kind of like the thing with Sammy, Roman, and Cody. Yep. Cody getting hurt kind of screwed Sammy in that sense. because Cody came back and took it from Sammy, and it is what it is at this point. But now that's what's happening with Liv. She's coming back at the right moment to get her revenge because she has to. That's part of the story. And we're finishing stories at WrestleMania, Albert. So deal with it. It's going to be Liv Morgan.
Kofi
I know
wants
you
to
hate
finish his story too, apparently. So,
all right. So there's our matches. And just one more, just a bonus one. It's not out of the realm of possibility that this Logan Paul, Kevin Owens things goes all the way to Mania and we get the Paul brothers versus KO and Sammy, because we know Sammy can work magic with some celebrities. He loves it. He gets all the he gets so much free reign to do whatever he wants. So that would be entertaining. So now your match about Sammy and the Waller theory has a 33 1/3% chance. Sorry about that. But now you can get your revenge on me because it's time for where is it at? I finally get to use one. The Guestion of the Week, where you bring a topic that you want to talk about very quickly at the end before we say our goodbyes. So do you have something for us?
I just want to talk about Jinder Mahal.
There we go.
I love
There
Joe.
we go.
Hey, where is it?
So, I've been a fan of Jinder since he was introduced with the Great Khali. Right?
Yes.
So-
amazing.
Don't hinder. Yes, 100%. And
Damn,
here's the
AEW
thing,
not letting
right?
me take this in.
I knew he was going to be something special. What really messed him up, I think, was 3MB. I love 3MB, don't get me wrong, but it just was, here, let's throw you in here because. And it was fun, don't get me wrong, but I think that lost the momentum. And then when he got released, it was like, okay, well, we see what he's capable of on the indies now. Like, we see what he can do. Like, if you've watched his matches, you know he can go. And then he gets signed back to WWE, has this incredible build, this physique. Everything he's done has been incredible. When he won the WWE Championship and they pushed and elevated him, I popped so hard because he's been busting his butt, working to get this spot. And I don't care what people say. His character work was fun. I loved what he was doing.
I loved it. Yeah.
He's a WWE superstar. You look at professional wrestling, you look at the indies and stuff like that, it's more fast paced. Awesome. Go watch that then. But if you're going to be into WWE and invested, Jinder is the perfect slow paced wrestler. He gets the job done. He looks incredible, can cut promos. He's just fun.
He checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Right. And people give him so much crap. And it took Tony Khan saying something for people to be like, oh, Jinder Mahal, yeah. Don't give me that yeah crap, because I've been a Jinder fan since day one. And I never thought that he was going to get like the popularity he got in just a short term just because of somebody saying something stupid. And look at what happened. I mean, people are complaining he injured Seth, but I think Seth's injury was
Seth. Seth
but
Landon
Jinder's
was wrong.
incredible. Jinder's absolutely incredible. And I was going to bring something up earlier, but we were talking about it. I was very upset that he wasn't in the Rumble. I was looking forward to him. But, man, he's such a talent, and I think he deserves all his flowers in the world.
So I think Jinder has he's in a great spot, kind of like R-Truth. He has a job for life.
Yes.
Because I almost don't like the fact that Tony, even though I get a kick out of the Tony Khan tweets when he goes crazy, because I don't get mad like a lot of people. I think it's literally funny. I think it's the fandom in him, and it's like he shouldn't be acting this way. It's like, well, he is still a fan, and he gets crazy with it sometimes. And it is entertaining. What I don't like about that particular instance, though, is it made people get behind Jinder, and Jinder is so good at just being hated to the point where people are like, I hate Jinder. He's not even good. It's like, no, he is good, and that's why you're hating him. Like, if he wasn't good, you wouldn't pay him any attention. You just be like, oh, bring something else out. But people literally don't like Jinder because he is so good.
Well,
100%.
I was gonna say it wasn't like just like you. I've been a big Jinder Mahal fan ever since I watched it. I wasn't around for 3MB, but as soon as I seen him come out and have that funny shit with the twins, freaking loved it. The two little guys, shit was great for me. But the
greatest match of all time.
I was there live for that.
the promo he
I'm
did
so
with The
fucking
Rock,
jealous, dude. Oh my god.
the promo he did with The Rock, of him talking shit about, you know, the United States and everything, there was some realism to that about like, hey, you're divided, you're this and that. And I love the way he said the whole thing.
Yeah.
He goes out and says, well, Seth, you're not revolutionary. I was more revolutionary in that 30 seconds of me speaking than what you've done. I thought that was a fantastic promo. I loved it. And if people couldn't get behind him for that alone, and they had to wait for Tony Khan to say something,
I popped when he came
I
out.
can see why that rubs you a little bit wrong. I mean, because I thought it was brilliant.
I popped when he came out. When they said now introducing the former WWE champion, he came out. I was like, let's go. Like,
and that's what I mean by he has a job for life, because they can literally input him in situations like that forever now. And it's
So does
always
The
going to
Miz,
work
you
because
know?
he's so good at it. So
yeah, Truth, The Miz, Jinder Mahal, I think are all guys that'll have jobs for life for sure, you know, because they can make anything work.
that's
But
a good list to be
I
on.
mean, Jinder is absolutely incredible. And you know, when he won and beat Orton, that I loved it. I thought it was incredible, and people were like absolutely shocked because here comes a guy who was, you know, playing air guitar a year and a half later or before to coming back being WWE champion. You know, absolutely
I
incredible.
think the world of what he's about to do, because one, he's got Veer and Saga, so he can manage them, and they are very intimidating. Two, no one has like the eyeballs that Jinder has. When Jinder's pissed, dude, like back then when he was champion, he has that look about him like you literally do not want to fight this guy.
Yep.
So he's got good. I'm not worried about Jinder. Jinder can be great.
I literally tried to take this to the Dynamite after Tony Khan, and they wouldn't let me take it in. I was so upset. So
that sucks.
And the whole politics things he's got going now, man, running that as a character, rubbing it in people's face, it's going to be gold.
Well, I'll say two things really quick before we cut out. I will say Jinder Mahal, I mean, is absolutely incredible. But before, you know, the whole Hook thing that Hook did his promo with outside, absolutely incredible. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant just to kind of come back and combating it, because Hook is one of those guys that just kind of is like, don't get me involved. Okay, I guess I'm involved. And here, let me cut this promo and whatever. But, I mean, just everything Jinder's doing, I mean, you can make him look like a joke, but he still looks like $1 million. And he's just incredible. He really is.
Amongst the worst things that has ever happened in wrestling fandom is wrestling fans believing that they're smarter than everyone else. And I think that's where Jinder suffered, because there was a guy by the name of Bruno Sammartino who had one of the greatest reigns in the history of pro wrestling. And do people remember the guys that ended those title runs?
not a clue.
Because no one cared that Stan Stasiak, won the title for 9 days, and then Pedro Morales beat him for it 9 days afterwards. Nobody cared about that back then. No one cared about that Bob Backlund when he lost the the it was the Iron Sheik, and the only people that remember the reason as to why it was the Iron Sheik was because Hogan was the guy who beat the Iron Sheik for it.
They needed Iron Sheik to lose to Hogan.
Right. This has been something that WWE has done for years. You take the World Championship off of your top babyface with a transitional heel champion, and that's exactly what Jinder was. And there was nothing wrong with that. They wanted to corner the market in India. They thought, hey, we can prop this guy up and we can make him out to be this big deal. We can get more money there. Plus, we get this nice transition from the normal main event scene, and we bring this new guy in, and he's got a different flavor. It's the same thing as what they did with Sergeant Slaughter when he beat Ultimate Warrior for the championship. This is stuff that's been done for years in wrestling, and I hate that wrestling fans will say things like, well, wrestling doesn't abide by some of the old tropes that it used to. It's because you won't let them.
Yeah, that's it. It's not that they shouldn't.
Right. Jinder Mahal was the perfect person to put in that position at that time. He made every sense in every way. He checked every single box that needed to be checked. Wrestling fans rejected him because they feel that they're snobbish and he has to earn. Shut up. This is pro wrestling.
He's what Muhammad Hassan should have been.
Yes, 100%. Yes. But don't give me he should earn this, that, or the other thing. How come Brock got to win a championship within a year of coming up to the main roster and no one bitched? How come Kurt Angle did? When you take people from the mid card and you elevate them to a main event status, there's a way to do things, and then there's a different way to do it. And sometimes it's okay, we're not going to transition. We're just going to go, okay, you're a main eventer now. Here's your title shot. You won. Oh crap! Anything can happen in the WWE. Jinder Mahal is the world champion. It's the exact way to show stuff like that. And wrestling fans will never understand why that's good for business and why that when they think that way, it's bad for business.
Because it's the social media world of professional wrestling.
This is for every fan that says old wrestling tropes don't work in wrestling anymore. This is what I want to happen. I want this man to just come through the screen and punch him in the face, because this is exactly what happened to him over in the other place. I won't go into details on it. We all know what happened over there, and that's
who goes around punching
essentially
people in the face?
what it was about. It's essentially what it was about. Is he's like, hey, we have ideas. You should listen to them, and they're like, no, we don't want to. So punch y'all in the face. Jinder is the beneficiary of a situation, and he made the most of it, which is what you're supposed to do in wrestling. They give you
and
an
the fact
opportunity.
Jinder's match with Seth got a lower rating than Hook versus Samoa Joe is just petty fans.
That's cage match
Petty
shit.
fans,
That don't
dude.
even matter. That's just.
And I love that Cage Match came out and said, hey, you know what? Stop being dicks about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're idiots. So with that, great show, everybody. Fantastic time, but it's now our time to say our goodbyes. So with that, before we go, Matt, you get the honors of going first. The floor is yours. Let them know where they can find you and say your goodbyes.
Guys, you can find me at a pro wrestling podcast with Matt and friends. I'm all over across the board. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever we call it, Facebook. You could catch me out on Grindr. I mean, just kidding. But for real, guys, you could check me out right there. Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Albert, you're up next. Let them know what to do.
So, like every week, Jimmy tells you to go do something. It's go watch the Slam Sessions, and there it is. It's right there. There'll be a new video up tomorrow. My weekend was a little bit busy, so there'll be a new video up tomorrow. So look forward to that. And thanks you guys for all your support.
Tidy. What up, man?
Oh man, you know what? There's no other sport in the world like wrestling. You can be a football fan and you can be an Eagles fan, but never once, if you're an Eagles fan, would you look at like, I don't know, the running back that's not doing so good. Did you never not hope that he would get better because he's part of your team?
No,
Wrestling is the one thing, even in WWE is your team because I'm a WWE guy. WWE is my team. I never look at the roster like, I hope Sonya Deville just slips on a banana peel and never comes back. I never say that. I never think that. I literally want my running back to get better. And I always want to hope there's something like that. I mean, I get there's tinted glasses and you look at people because they're not your favorite. And it's kind of hard to really see what they can do. I mean, I wasn't really sold into Cody. And I told myself earlier last year, like, he's going to sell me. And he did. So I'm really proud of Cody right now. And man, he's going to really pull the team ahead. I'm loving this Cody Rhodes.
All right. And I will say, first and foremost, I said I was going to post pictures and videos and stuff of the Rumble, and I didn't. So I'm sorry, Tidy. I know you wanted me to because you wanted to live through me. Here's the problem. I got into the arena. My phone was like, no service for you, and they didn't offer any Wi-Fi. So at first I was like, this is bullshit. Where are we at? Why can't I have my phone? Why can't my phone work? But instead of, just being all mad about it, I was like, you know what? I turned it off. I put it in the cup holder and I just watched because I'm at a live event. And honestly, I don't know where in life things got so twisted that I forgot that that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be putting that shit down and living in the moment. And I saw everyone hating the Royal Rumble. And I was like, maybe I was able to enjoy it because I wasn't doing this while I was supposed to be doing this. I was jumping up off my feet for people I normally wouldn't have. I had the time of my life. So this is my plea to people. If you're still watching this, put the phone down sometimes and just watch the product a little bit more. And you're probably going to like it. Maybe just a little bit more, because then you're not going to be.
People crapped on the men's Rumble a little bit is because they weren't paying attention.
Yes. And I think it's because they're so invested with this idea of like, I want to get my opinion out there because I'm smarter than everybody and I want to prove to everybody that I know this and this and this and this. They want to do this, which I get. It's a very fun feeling. I do it a lot, but I'm doing it right now. I just did it again. But the point is, stop trying to, I guess, prove you're smarter than you really are and enjoy this thing that you're supposed to be enjoying. We all love it. And that's my story on it. Like, it literally, I think it enhanced my enjoyment of the show last night because I wasn't able to interact. And I encourage people to do this more often. When I go to WrestleMania, I'm not even going to bother. I'm turning my phone off. It's going in my pocket. I'm not even going to bother because of how awesome of a time I had last night. So I encourage you all to do that because, as I always say, just enjoy wrestling. And you will find us back here next week where we'll be talking about, I don't know at this point. Sorry, I dropped the ball. I have been busy this weekend, but we will have a show and we will talk about something fun and we will have a guest. But once again, thank you again for joining us, Matt. It's been awesome. It's been a pleasure. And don't forget to go check out a wrestling podcast with friends, correct?
With Matt and Friends.
Matt and Friends. Sorry, I messed that up.
The longest podcasting name in professional wrestling.
You will not have a hard time finding it as long as you go into the search bar and hit a wrestling podcast with Matt and Friends. He does a lot of interviews. He highlights the indies. I love it. Y'all need to go check it out. And again, one last time, thank you for joining us. So with that, goodbye, everybody, and we will see you next week. Deuces.